Hey everybody, Mad Martial Arts here. Hope you're doing okay. This is a VidMe exclusive, but that right there is kind of a lie because I'm also going to be putting this on YouTube. If you would like a link to my YouTube channel, I will leave that in the description of the VidMe video. And if you are from YouTube and you would like to check out VidMe, I'll leave a link to my channel as well as a link to VidMe in the description of the YouTube video. For those of you that don't know what VidMe is another content creating site that's similar to YouTube, but there are a couple of distinct differences between them. It's a relatively new platform, and I like it, honestly. It's not a bad place at all. I highly suggest that you give both my channel on VidMe and VidMe itself a look. My VidMe account has a bunch of exclusive content that you can really only find on VidMe. It's more along the lines of this kind of video, a more laid back, just off rip video on a specific topic. You can even see a couple right now on my page, at the top. So, marijuana and martial arts. Should you smoke weed and do martial arts? It's very divisive, and there's pros and cons, in my opinion. Some say yes, some say no. There's a lot of different, opinions and angles on this. I'm going to tell you my experience with weed. So, around the age of 17, I might have been going on 18, I took my first hit of marijuana. I loved it. It was great, in my opinion. And I started smoking heavily after that, and shortly after that, about a year, maybe a year and a half after that, I had my first fight. Um, I smoked heavily for about 5 years, and actually, pretty recently, I more or less stopped. I've taken a couple of hits since a month or two ago, but I stopped for personal reasons. It was messing with an anxiety disorder that I have, so I figured, you know what, if it's making me anxious, I should just stop. Um, Now, when it comes to marijuana and martial arts, it's really up to you what you're going to do. I can't tell you what to do with your body. And frankly, I'm not even going to tell you, yes, you should, no, you shouldn't. I'm going to leave it completely and totally up to you. It doesn't matter. To me, what you do personally. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I have some kind of vested interest in how you go about your life. But there are pros and cons. Um, Now, the pros that I personally have experienced is that I am able to kind of put myself into a state of, I guess you could say, consciousness or a state of mind as to where I am completely and totally meditative during my training. There is not a single thought going through my mind when I'm training, and that is good. I'm just receptive. I'm not completely and totally just out. I'm not like about everything. But at the same time, I'm not sitting here thinking about work. I'm not thinking about what I'm going to be doing after training. I'm just on training. That is that. There is not a single thought about anything other than what I am doing in that moment. And it feels good. Honestly, I liked how it made me feel. Um, Another pro was that you get a better workout. Marijuana kind of makes you more conscious of how you're feeling. It makes you more conscious of your body. It Some people might describe it as sluggishness, but the reason why it's sluggishness is because you're feeling every little part of your body. You're doing push ups, you're feeling every ounce of energy that you're expending on that push up, and that will make your body recover more rapidly as well as make your body stronger when you do recover. Um, and the last pro that I'm going to talk to you about is a better feeling afterwards. People describe a high that they get after working out. When I smoked and worked out, that like I used to tell my friends about it. It felt like sex, honestly, right after sex. I'd stop working out, I'd go into the locker room, and on the walk home, because I lived near the gym that I trained at, I felt great. The sun seemed brighter, the grass seemed greener, I liked it a lot, you know? Um, but there are cons to it. It's not just all sunshine and rainbows, For one thing, marijuana smells, you know. There's been plenty of times where I've walked into my gym reeking of marijuana. And if you have kids around, or if you have people that just do not want to be around that, it could cause issues with your gym. There were a couple of times where either myself or other people brought weed to the gym. They just happen to have it on them, and they're like, fuck, I gotta get to the gym. I can't get there. And they just have weed on them, and it stinks up the whole locker room. And it's like, oh God, like the people who don't smoke are just not having it. They're pissed off about it. They might not even say anything, but they're like, oh, geez, like, didn't expect that. There were a couple of times I was talked to by the owner of my gym. Truthfully, I stopped smoking straight up marijuana before the gym because of this. I smoked something that's known as dabs. It's less smelly, And there were a couple of times where other people had to be talked to by the owner of the gym. And frankly, it's kind of embarrassing, to have to be talked to about that kind of thing. Look, your behavior is kind of problematic. It's that kind of talk, and it sucks. Nobody wants to have to sit there and have that conversation. Another thing is you might become very happy and laughy. And there were people at my gym that I was really cool with. We'd buddy around and shit, and I'd walk in, my eyes would be red, and they'd be like, "You are baked, man." And I'd be like, no. Like an idiot, trying to be like, no, even though I tell you that I smoked before the gym. No, I'm not high. And then they'd fuck with me. We'd be sparring. They'd be in the middle of throwing a switch kick, and they'd make a weird noise, and I'd just fucking laugh my ass off, and then get pounded with a fucking switch kick to the ribs or something. That can be problematic, but if you are able to get to the point where it is meditative and you're just constantly in the zone, then that's cool. Great. If you want to do that, go ahead. And the last con that I'm going to tell you about is it makes you tired, which it kind of goes hand in hand with one of the pros, the better workout. If you don't like the feeling of sluggishness during your workout, then you probably shouldn't smoke weed before your workout. The idea behind the better workout, though, is that you start getting a little bit sluggish, and you say, no, I'm pushing through this. I'm pushing through this. I'm doing it. Like, I have to just say, fuck it. I have to deal with what's going on, and I have to just push through. Now, marijuana on its own is a very divisive subject, even outside of the realm of martial arts, people will say that marijuana saps your ambition. It makes you lazy, and that is not inherently true. It really all comes down to the individual. I will admit right now that there was a point where I first started really trying to get serious with martial arts, and I decided I wanted to fight, and I was slacking at first because there were a lot of different things in my life that I just kind of let take control of me. Marijuana was involved, but it was not marijuana at the root of the issue. It was all me. What would happen is I would get home from work and I'd say, oh, it was such a stressful day. I'm beat. I just want to lay down. I just want to play video games. I just want to go chill with my friends and smoke. And I'd just do that. I'd think of a million different reasons as to why I just should not bother with it. Another thing would be is maybe I get home from work early, or maybe I just don't have work that day and I'm chilling with my friends and we're buddying around, having a great time. And I look at the time and there's an hour till the gym, and I'm like, oh, I really don't want to go. Like, I'm having so much fun with my friends. I worked out yesterday, I worked out the day before. I'll just work out twice as hard tomorrow, and I won't bother going. And I'd sit here and make up these excuses, and then I'd sit there and I'd smoke weed with my friends. It wasn't the weed that was keeping me, though, it was myself. And I wasn't skipping the gym because I wanted to smoke weed. I was skipping the gym because I just really did not want to go that day. And instead of telling myself, you know what, shut the fuck up, Mad Martial Arts, you're going to go to the gym, you're going to work out, and you're going to have a good time doing it, I said, you know what, I'll just go tomorrow. That's what happens with people. Yes, marijuana is involved in some way, shape, or form, but it is not the marijuana keeping them from doing anything. Um, Another thing that happened within the last couple of days, Shane from Fight Tips did a Q&A session. He was playing one of the UFC games, the latest UFC game, and he was taking questions. There was like 400 people on the in that chat box thing that YouTube Live has, so I'm surprised he even saw my question. But he answered a question that I asked, and it was, "Do you smoke marijuana?" And he said no, and he honestly, he got a little stern. He was like, no, I don't smoke anything. It's not good for your lungs. You know, you need to have your lungs at 100% capacity at all times. Just he wasn't like flipping out about it, but he went off about it for, a like 30-second period. And I'm not going to sit here and say that marijuana has no effect on your lungs whatsoever, but I will say this. Whenever marijuana made me feel tired, it was not my cardio and it was not my respiratory system. It was always my arms, my legs, my back, my butt, even, honestly. It was always sluggishness in my muscular areas. And that is good. That is what makes working out on marijuana good. That is the benefit of it, because you feel sluggishness in those areas. And instead of saying, you know what, I think I'm working myself too hard, you say, no, you know what, I'm going to push through this. Um, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm some kind of doctor. I'm not. But I personally do not believe that marijuana has that much of an effect on your respiratory system as to where you will be doing wind sprints and you will be tired because you smoke marijuana. Anytime that I have been winded during training, that has come from me not having worked out as hard as I normally do for however long. It wasn't because I was sitting around smoking weed. It was because I was sitting around in general. And another thing is, if you stay on top of your cardio, you will be able to outwork any negative effects that marijuana has, assuming that it even has negative effects. I have not done studies on this. I have not seen studies on this. I'm sure there are studies on this topic that exist. However, I'm also going to say that I don't believe Shane from Fight Tips has done studies on that either. No shade thrown in Shane's direction. I love the dude's shit. I watch his stuff all the time. But I don't believe he's done studies on this either, to tell you the truth. What tends to happen with people is they're told things, either that or they just kind of look at it and they say, well, you're putting smoke into your lungs, and smoke is bad because, well, cigarettes are bad, and cigarettes are smoke, and marijuana is smoke. Therefore, marijuana smoke is terrible for your lungs. They basically just try to put two and two together. Well, we have tobacco and we have marijuana. You burn them both. I believe that is where Shane from Fight Tips is coming from, to be completely honest with you. I believe this because usually you look at that, you look at people who have these thoughts on marijuana, and that's usually where they're coming from. It's just a long time ago, they made up their mind, and now that's just how they think on it. Again, no shade thrown in Shane's direction. If he happens across this video for whatever fucking reason, I don't know why he would ever see this video. I'm extremely small right now, but if he ever comes across this video and he wants to talk about it, I mean, fuck man, hit me up. But yeah, that's basically it. Honestly, I'm not going to tell you to smoke weed, period. But I'm especially not going to tell you to smoke weed and do martial arts. If you want to, then by all means, go ahead. That's your choice. If you don't want to, then by all means, go ahead. That is your choice. I just figured I'd make this video kind of detailing some pros, some cons, and a couple of things that people say about marijuana and how it kind of affects martial arts and martial artists. If you enjoyed this video, I recently started a Patreon. If everyone could just donate $1 per month, I do per month, not per video, but if people could donate $1 per month, that would really help me out. I would be able to do a lot of different things for the channel and for you guys. If you can't donate, that's fine. You could also help out by leaving a like, subbing, or following if you're on VidMe, commenting, even sharing. The next video will be out soon, and thank you.